Hey everyone, it's Penberthy here, and in today's video I want to talk about some psychological hacks that you can use in your video ads to grab attention, right? Everything we're doing online to generate more traffic, leads, and customers is all to do with grabbing attention, hooks and angles to pique someone's curiosity, and there's certain ways that we can do that to pique someone's curiosity without them even knowing what we're doing. Let's talk about it. First thing I want to do is talk about how you grab someone's attention, specifically on the topic of video ads. It doesn't matter if you're using Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We have to pique someone's curiosity and we have to grab their attention. How do we do that? We do that with hooks and angles, and we need to do certain things in the beginning of our videos that really do grab the right type of attention. And there's three ways that we can do that. It's either what you're saying, what you're doing, or where you are. I want to give you some examples. When it comes to what you're saying, it's something that you're saying in the very beginning of your video that is making them stop in their tracks and think, I need to pay attention to what this guy is talking about, Like, I'll give you an example. I've got ways in my marketing, I'm not going to give away the certain keywords that I say, but I've got ways in my marketing where I want to interest someone in the idea of launching a webinar, right? But if I say the word webinar, they've heard it so many times before, so I use a different way of saying it. I'll give you one example. I talk about like the charm webinar approach. I say, how many of you want to learn my charm webinar approach that's been responsible for multiple 7 figures in revenue, right? Now suddenly, if you've heard webinars before, this sounds like something new. You go, oh, I've not heard of the charm webinar, what is that? Right, so now I've hooked their attention, I've grabbed their attention by just calling it something slightly different, okay? I've got other ways that I do that, things that I say that grab the person's attention. The second thing you can do is it's what you're doing. I'll give you an example. Like I decided recently with a business partner of mine, we rented this massive castle up here in North England, and we booked this huge thing. We got these stupid plastic swords, and we were doing an advertisement, a YouTube ad and a Facebook ad, where we were talking and fighting in front of this massive castle, talking about Facebook advertising, right? And that advertisement was leading for someone to buy our Facebook ads course. So just the sheer fact that as you're scrolling your newsfeed or as an ad pops up on YouTube, you're seeing a couple of knuckleheads fighting with these swords, but they are standing in front of a gigantic castle, that adds a bit of credibility. It's like, well, who are these guys and why are they standing in this, seemingly really expensive castle? So that is what grabs the attention with what you're doing. And finally, where you are. Okay, so what's actually going on in the background? I might have in the castle video referred to the castle, talked about the castle and done that stuff. You can do things where you literally don't even mention what is behind you, but there are certain things that you can do that actually grabs attention that way. Like for example, if I'm shooting an ad, I could be saying the exact same stuff as I'm saying here in my studio, but if I'm doing it from a beautiful, exotic location, it's going to grab someone's attention too, right? Like I've got one ad that does really well for us. Maybe we'll throw up a screenshot of it here. And you can see it's just me talking. It's just a selfie video, hit me on my phone, but behind me is beautiful, just blue, lagoon-like water, and that's what grabs the attention. That's what has someone stopping and scrolling in their newsfeed. So that's how we grab attention. Let's talk about what you can do further into your videos to keep someone hooked, right? How can we have some unique angles to the entire video that psychologically is engaging someone in the video? And like I mentioned at the beginning, they're not even really sure why they are, feeling engaged in it. One thing you can do is you can actually take the mick out of your industry. You can actually mock the industry. I find this to be very effective, actually. You've got to think about this. When advertisements are popping up on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, what's the first thing that you experience and that you feel? You feel resistance to it. You feel like, oh, it's an ad, right? That's the phrase that comes up all the time. Oh, it's just an ad. And so we naturally try and repel ads. We try and avoid ads because they sound and seem like ads. So if we can take the mick out of our industry, if we can mock the industry, that can actually have great benefit, right? So I've got ads where I literally, it's like ad in Inception. I'm literally in my ad saying, hey, it's Penberthy here. Look, real quick, I know it's another ad and you just cannot wait to hit that skip button right now on the YouTube video, but just stick with me for a second. And just by the fact that I have talked about and addressed the fact that, I'm making a bit of a joke, a bit of a light-hearted nature about the fact that this is an ad, that can hook someone, that can draw someone in to your message. You can do this as well with something that repeatedly comes up in your industry that your competitors are saying in their advertisements or in their marketing message, and you can poke a little bit of fun at that, and that's going to draw some attention too. Another hack that you can use in your video ads, and this is really important, is make the video about them, not about you. You have to understand this. People don't care about you, okay? When you pop up in your video ad on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, doesn't matter. If you just start talking about you, hey, it's John Penberthy here, and I've been able to achieve this, and I've done this, and here's some other accolades that I've done, and here's this amazing stuff, and here's the awards that I got. And if the whole video is about that, and you say, hey, if you want my help, click the link, yes, you might get some of those people that move forward on that. But for the most part, okay, you're just repelling those people. They're just thinking, who's this knucklehead just talking about his achievements? They want you to address how they're feeling. And this is like, I want you to understand this is powerful. If you, in your video ads, talk about them, what they're experiencing, their pain, their desires, right, what they're thinking, the closer you can get in your video ads to describing your ideal customer, the more they will feel drawn in and want to take action on what it is that you have for them to do next. A couple of other things that I want to share with you before we conclude this video. One is drawing attention to objections. I learned this from a guy called Frank Kern many years ago. You know, he said something quite profound. He was talking about, you know, your audience are going to have objections to your ads, to your sales processes, to your products, right? Your offers. They're going to have objections to it all the way along, and those objections keep them from moving forward. And what we can sometimes think that we need to do is just kind of avoid them. If we know that there's an objection that could come up and a reason why someone wouldn't buy, we kind of want to sugarcoat it. We just want to kind of hide it away and talk about other fluffy stuff that we think might distract them from that objection. And that's the worst thing you can do. The best thing you can do is you draw attention to those objections, right? If you mention them, here's what's happening in their brain. Here's what's happening psychologically. If you mention the objection that you know they might have, just by the sheer fact that you have mentioned it shows that you're aware of it, which leads them to believe that you won't be falling into the same trap. You won't be leading them into that place. If their objection, for example, is that the program that you're selling doesn't work, for example, or won't work for them, just by saying, hey, and perhaps you're wondering, like, does this work for you? You know, maybe you've tried tons of other trainings before and you're thinking, is this just another training? It's not going to work for me. Listen, I've spoke to so many people that, funnily enough, thought that exact same thing. And then here's what happened to Michaela and blah. So I've drawn attention to it. And by drawing attention to it, I've loosened its power and its hold over their brain as a reason to not move forward and make a buying decision. And the final one is called us versus them. I actually learned this originally from a guy called Russell Brunson. You know, credit where credit's due. He was talking about this idea of, look, you know, there's so many people out there in the industry that you're in right now, the different gurus, the big brands, your competition, and perhaps they have given your potential customers a bad service, right? So when you pop up as an ad, they're just going to think, they're going to lump you in with those people, right? They're just going to think, okay, another person who just wants my money, another person who just wants me to sign up for that thing, you're just going to be another person, right? Another ad. So we have to separate ourselves from them. So the way that you do this is by telling a story about how you got screwed over as well, and then separate yourself from that. So I'd say something like, let's say, for example, I've got a video ad about my coaching and my consulting services, right? And people are going to think, oh, John's just another one of those guys, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about in the ad, I'm going to say, hey, listen, you know, and it hasn't always been this way. Like I remember signing up for coaching. I remember there's this one dude, you know, his ad sounded so convincing. The sales process sounded so good. You know, I signed up, I gave him 10 grand, and I tell you, it was the worst experience of my life. I just felt like I've just thrown this money down the drain. I pinned all my hopes on this guy, and he just let me down. Sometimes he wouldn't even answer the phone. Sometimes he missed the calls that we were scheduled to have, and I just didn't get the result that I was looking for. It's been frustrating. In fact, that's the reason why I launched the coaching program that I'm telling you about right now, because I want to set the new standard. There's so many people in our space that are screwing people over and they're not delivering the right result, and I want to set that new standard for how coaching should be, and that's why I created the boom, 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 boom. Right? Your course probably isn't called boom, 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 but you just then go on to describe, you know, what your thing is. You have now created the us versus them. It's like, here's me and us and where we need to be, and here's them. Like, that's wrong. Let's get away from that as much as we can. All right. So that's pretty much it. That's a bunch of stuff there that you can be utilizing in your video ads to grab more attention, hook their attention, and actually convert more people to make the buying decision out the other end. If this video has been helpful for you, I'd love to invite you to click the link that's in the description box in the top comment. That would take you to a page where you can actually book a call with someone on my team. Someone who's going to find out where you're at in your business, where you need help, where you're stuck, and start to map out a plan of how you should be moving forward. And then from there, we potentially will talk about my coaching program, if that's something that you would like to investigate. It's called Expert Accelerator. You can only join that program by talking to someone on my team, because it's a very exclusive program. We don't work with everyone. And so go ahead and check that out. You might really enjoy that phone call, and potentially we'll have a chance to work together in growing your business. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button, leave me a comment, let me know what you found helpful. Let me know out of those, I'm not even sure how many things I've covered, but which one was most helpful. And if you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel, go ahead and do that literally right now. Turn on the bell notification. I'm putting out a ton of new videos every single week, and I think you'll really enjoy them. So go check it out, and I'll speak to you soon.